Hello. So I'm going to start off the day today washing my hands because I got called out for not doing it on camera last time when we made spaghetti. So go ahead and jump on here. If you're making omelets, let me know. Good morning. Good morning. Sing the ABCs in between your fingers. Wash your palms. Wash the back of your hands. How are you guys doing today? Hi, Molly. Well, my dogs are going to be barking probably all morning. So we're going to just spin it around here. I do not have my lovely assistant today, so this is all me with my two dogs. But they don't have thumbs, so they're not that much help. Hi, Taylor. Good morning. Alrighty, we'll give us a couple extra minutes. Alrighty. Okay, girls, mostly girls. I know there's some guys on there too. Who's making omelets today? Anybody? Are you gonna make omelets later? Are you gonna make omelets with me? Crickets. Nobody. Susie, you are awesome. Taylor, yes, very exciting. All right, go ahead and make sure you have everything out that you think you're gonna need. Oh, and Carson, wow, lots of followers. Listen, I really want you guys to send me pictures because I think it just shows people that even if your omelets turn out as a flop or your spaghetti didn't have enough noodles, we all make mistakes, but then we still are all doing something together. And that's what going live and having an Instagram is all about, is making connections with other people. So even if we're not at school, I have my shredded cheese out. I'm going to use ham today. I don't love this kind of ham, but honestly, it's just what we had in the refrigerator. This is the kind of ham my husband buys because he goes through it like crazy on sandwiches. I'm going to cut up some tomatoes with mine. I've got my eggs, my salt, pepper, my frying pan all ready to go. Usually, if I had the perfect omelet, maybe I'd throw in some bacon bits or something, and some mushrooms, some fresh spinach, but I went to the store last night and it was closed, and honestly at this point in my morning I didn't want to go back out again to go get something, so I just said, you know what, this is all about doing things with what we have on hand, so that's what we're doing today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with just cracking 2 eggs into the bowl, get those whisked up with either a whisk or a fork, and set them off to the side. That way when we need them, they're ready to go. I'm just going to go with 2 large eggs. I know if you go to a restaurant, a lot of times it'll say it's a 3-egg omelet, and it's huge and fluffy and fancy, but I feel like 2 is a good number for me, so I'm going to go with 2 eggs. Go ahead and crack those into a bowl. We keep most of our eggshells right back in there, so that way we're not going from the counter to the trash can and back and forth and dripping egg guts all over the place. Just set those off to the side. And whisk them up. All right, those of you making omelets, what fillings or ingredients are you putting in yours? Let me know. You're just mixing them with a fork. Ooh, you just made eggs? What kind of eggs, Macy? Did you fry them, scramble them? What'd you do? Alright, I'm going to get some ham out and slice them a couple pieces up. So the nice thing about omelets is you can get away with almost any type of lunch meat just thrown in there. Ham's a good one. Okay, go ahead and throw that out on a cutting board. As much as you think you're gonna eat, sometimes it's hard to guess until you're actually going. So then we've got two choices. So we've got some kind of steak knife is usually what I use, but the kind I have, there's one with a lot of serrated edges or deep ridges and then not so much. I go with the one that's not so much. Ooh, over easy, those oohs everywhere. So I'm just gonna dice up my lunch meat, nice and easy, kind of make a grid. Nothing fancy. The fancy part gets comes into play when we're throwing the eggs into the frying pan and then trying to flip it over, or fold it in half. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know why I agreed to make omelets because I don't do them very often. A lot of times my omelets flop and it turns into something that's just scrambled eggs with filling. Ooh, peppers. What kind of peppers? Green peppers? Spicy peppers? Something? Bell peppers? Okay. So I'm going to dump all this stuff into an extra bowl so it gets it out of the way. If I was making this by myself without showing you guys how to do it, I would just leave it on the side of my cutting board, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing when. And of course I dropped a piece of ham, so the dogs are at my feet. I'm going to go ahead and take some of these cherry tomatoes because that's what I had in the fridge, and just dice these bad boys up too. Be careful with your fingers when you're cutting things. I'm sure there's official cutting techniques that I am not following right now. Just try not to cut yourself. Cut up your tomatoes, your peppers, whatever you're throwing in your omelet. Lila's right here. She thinks she's getting tomatoes. It's not happening today. Actually, it probably is. I don't give my dogs a lot of table food, but one thing they get is fruits and vegetables, because I figured if you're going to spoil them with something, might as well give them something that's healthy. And they love it. Like, she'll go nuts for tomatoes. Alrighty. Good morning, Peyton. Alrighty, I'm going to do one more tomato, just in case you guys are working with your ingredients. I don't want to rush too much. No, we did not put the eggs in the pan yet. They're just sitting off to the side. If I back up, is that a little easier to see? My pan is not even on the burner. One thing after doing the spaghetti video that I noticed is, first, I don't measure things, and some of you really need that. And then second, that if I'm doing too many things at once and rushing it, it might be hard to follow, and I am not an Instagram star, so I'm going to try and slow down a little bit. This is everything I am going to cut up, so I'm going to throw this off the stovetop and just set it in the sink right behind the camera. The other thing I do a lot of, because I'm messy when I cook, either I'm constantly wiping my hands on my apron or on a dish towel, but then the dish towel gets all gross and stained and you've got to throw it in the washer. So like today I washed my hands and then I used paper towels. So they're damp, but then I use that same paper towel kind of throughout me cooking to just get a little bit of the dabs off my fingertips. That way I can stay clean without having to do a whole bunch of laundry. But it's also kind of bad for the environment, so I try not to use too many paper towels. I'm just going to contradict myself all day. So, alrighty, we've got our frying pan is now over near the stove. Let me know when you guys are ready with your ingredients, so I don't jump too far ahead. Can you still see that? There we go. Michaela, how are those peppers coming? Ready? Who is chicken noodle? I think you guys told me, but I forgot. Yes, I've got a hedgehog mug. I used to have a hedgehog. His name was Mozzie. Awesome. We are ready. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my frying pan. Depending on what kind of stove you guys are using is going to depend on what heat setting to turn it on. Oh, it's Kellen. Okay. Thank you guys. We've got a glass stovetop here, so the burner heats up quick, but then it kind of cycles through on and off with the heating element. And the frying pan, I kind of like it, kind of don't. We just had a gas stove. Oh, it's Rowan. Sorry, guys. If you had your names on here, it would help me out, but it's fine. Okay, I'm not touching the pan. I'm just holding my hand over top of it a little bit, seeing if it gets heated up or how hot it is. You can use just about any type of oil, grease, butter in the base of your pan. I'm going to use olive oil. It's a somewhat healthier option. Obviously, you don't want to be pouring a whole bunch of oil and things. Hi, Marissa. Oh, and I forgot a spatula. So if you don't have one, go ahead and grab one. You want something that's kind of flimsy on the end because we're trying to get under that egg and flip it. Oh, there's my dog sleeping. They've always got to be underfoot. So this one's not too bad. Try not to have something with the ridges on the side like this because it's going to get in the way of flipping the omelet. Not the one I want, but it'll work. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to use this. So, Radar's sleeping on the job. He's been barking at everything that's going by the house the last 2 days. So, hi, Jemiah. Awesome. Okay, my pan is heating up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there. Probably like 2/4 worth. I don't know, that's a measurement for you. Okay. Just gonna swirl the oil around. We don't want the eggs to stick. And if you're using a non-stick pan, that helps a lot too, but I don't necessarily trust it and that it's never gonna stick. And then here's the tricky part. So I'm using lunch meat and I definitely want that ham warmed up. I don't want the meat to be cold when I bite into my omelet. And if you've ever been to like a brunch restaurant and you have an omelet station, sometimes they'll dump the ingredients in first, then the egg, they'll flip it, and then throw cheese in the middle and fold it over on top. That's what I'm going to go with. Instead of having just the egg, flip the egg, then the filling, cheese, and folded, because I think the filling will be kind of cold. So I'm going in with my ham and my tomatoes. Do not throw your cheese in here yet. Just whatever you want to cook. So if you were cooking, making, an omelet with onions or even the peppers, you might want to cook your filling a little bit longer or maybe with some extra seasoning because, I don't know. It depends on how soft you want your veggies. So I'm just mixing those around with some olive oil in a hot pan. With the ham, it's easy to tell if you're burning it, but it'll start to get just slight colored around it. It's steaming, steam coming off of here. Call it good. Kind of spread these all out. And actually, I'm going to turn mine down just a bit. I'm about at halfway now on my burner. Okay, your eggs are going in. Should have a nice sizzle when you dump those in there. It's kind of anticlimactic. Sorry, guys. Okay. Alrighty, I'm throwing the raw egg and fork in the sink. Definitely don't want raw egg anywhere. And I'm going to throw in some salt and pepper right now. I've got the grinders, so I usually just do, I don't know, we'll say like 3. Nope. I didn't do full rotations. The pepper's easier because you can see it. And then we're just going to kind of let it bubble up a little bit. How many chicken noodles are there in 7th and 8th grade? Alright, it's bubbling a little bit. Okay. Just checking the sides, see how thick we're cooking. Not too bad. So what I'm going to try and do once the bottom is cooking pretty good, I'm going to try and get some of the raw egg, radar, the raw egg kind of underneath to cook it a little bit more underneath. Only 2 chicken noodles. So I'm just scooched it up and got the egg on the back part. Because when I flip it, I don't want it to go everywhere. There are some things that when I'm cooking, I can shake the pan and do the one-handed flip without the spatula to turn it. Today it does not look like that's going to happen with this. I think it's too big of an omelet. Ooh, see, not a whole lot going on. I'm going to go ahead and try and flip mine. So I'm going to loosen up the sides. This is where if you have something that's slightly a bendier spatula, it'll get nice underneath it. I'm going for it. I'm just going to do it. So you got to get it moving. Nope. Hang on. Now I'm committed. Alright. You want it loose, so when you shake it, you can just flick it. Nope. I got about halfway, so I folded my omelet. The cheese is like the last thing we do because we don't want it all over the pan. My omelet is kind of folded in half now because I did not master the flip. So if your omelet is looking done, if your egg is not runny anymore, go ahead and add the cheese, and then you're just going to fold it over again. Or for the first time if you managed a flip with your spatula well. Okay. And mine is ready for cheese. It does not look raw anymore. This I should... Oh, there we go. That's what we wanted to do the first time. Alright. So I'm going to sprinkle some cheese in there. My burner's still pretty hot. I'm turning it down just a touch. Okay. Fold that over. Do the press. Since I did not make it all the way over on my first flip, my omelet is now extra thick, which is fine. And then I'm just pressing it down to try and get that cheese melty and gluing my omelet together. I don't know at this point if you can really even call it an omelet anymore, but I'm going to. So, Lila, no. She wants those tomatoes. See her little nose? Alrighty, so I am good to go. Turning my burner off. I'm going to enjoy this omelet. There's a couple omelet hacks that I've seen. Here's my finished, like for camping and stuff. When you mix up the eggs, if you dump them into a freezer quart-size Ziploc bag and then throw your toppings in there, so everything is in a little baggie, you can stick the baggie sealed without the air in it in a pot of boiling water, and I've done it before, and it actually turns out really good. You don't get the coloring on it, like mine has a little bit of the dark spots. It's not burned, but I think it'll taste really good. You can also do like baked frittatas and things. I haven't made those before, but as this is cooling down a little bit, I'm going to take a bite and then sign off here so I can go enjoy it, and you guys can too. Alrighty, let's see how it is. It's hot. It tastes like an omelet. Alright, well, I'll check back in later. Hopefully you guys take pictures of your omelets and post them for me. I'm going to go sit on the couch and eat my brunch in front of the TV. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye.